We have spent many an hour studying the details of heaven, haven't we? We've seen what the Scripture says, stayed away from speculation or conjecture, wanting to know exactly what God is telling us in the Scripture. And yet, you know this in these past months and even through this past year. There are times when I'll have to tell you, when you ask about a detail about heaven, Christian, I'll have to tell you the Bible's silent there. I just don't know. We're looking at this. We can get a principle, but when it comes to a particular exactness, we're just not sure. And that bothers some Christians. You know, I wish we could know more. Well, let's rely on this. When we go back into the Scripture, in the promise of eternity, what can we see? Well, for example, we do know this in Matthew chapter 25. The residents of heaven, the believers, are in a place of joy. Matthew 25 tells us this. As a matter of fact, Luke 16 says, those entering into heaven, the redeemed, are in comfort. Isaiah 51 and verse 12, the Lord himself says, I am he who comforts you. And we can be assured in this principle, Romans chapter 10 and verse 11, the one who believes in him and trusts in him will not be disappointed. Psalm 25 and verse 3 says they will not be put to shame. We see these different promises coming to us, Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 7, that in the ages to come, the believer can be assured of this, that God will show his abundant riches in kindnesses through Jesus Christ. Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 10, we know that we're going to be gathered together, getting answers about our questions here on earth from the Lord. Ephesians 1:10 tells us that. And then we can rely on the fact that Psalm 16 verse 11 tells us, in your presence, Lord, is fullness of joy. At your right hand, there are pleasures forevermore. I'd say that's a great promise of comfort. Psalm 17 and verse 15, when I see your likeness, I will be satisfied. Now, there are many other scriptures which can give us an assurance that the believer is going to be more than happy in heaven. We see Isaiah 55 and 11, and it tells us that happiness will endure forever. Luke chapter 6 and verse 21, we will laugh. So I would say this, if we don't have a detail about heaven, I think the Lord is going to assure us that things are going to be more than satisfactory in heaven. Being with him, when I see your likeness, I will be satisfied. Heaven is something to look forward to.